You know the feeling. It is practically a universal human experience.
Yeah.
You wake up, maybe it's January 1st, maybe it's a Monday, or you just catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and think, enough.
This is it.
This is it. I am changing my life today. You buy the expensive gym membership, you toss out every gram of sugar in your pantry, you are running on pure, high-octane motivation.
And for about 3 days, you feel completely unstoppable. You feel like a god. And then, well, life happens.
Right.
You get a flat tire, a stressful email from your boss, or honestly, you just get tired and hungry. And suddenly that motivation, it just evaporates.
It's the New Year's resolution model of change, and if we're being honest, the failure rate is staggering, something like 90%.
It's huge.
We tend to rely on willpower as if it's this fixed character trait. But today's deep dive suggests we've got the mechanism all wrong.
Entirely wrong.
We are looking at Tiny Habits, The Small Changes That Change Everything by B.J. Fogg. And right off the bat, we need to establish who this guy is, because he is not just a motivational speaker.
No, absolutely not. This is a heavyweight book. B.J. Fogg is a behavioral scientist. He founded the Behavior Design Lab at Stanford University.
Which is, it's a legendary institution in the tech world. When you look at his roster of former students, it's wild.
It is.
He's the guy who taught the people who built Instagram how to make their apps habit-forming.
Yeah.
He basically wrote the code for human engagement that Silicon Valley runs on.
Exactly. He knows how to wire human behavior because he's spent 20 years studying the biology of it.
Right.
And his core premise in Tiny Habits is kind of radical because it gives you permission to stop beating yourself up.
Okay.
He argues that if you can't change, it's not a character flaw. You aren't lazy. You just have a design flaw in your approach.
Yeah, that distinction is so crucial. He says, we treat behavior change like a morality play, like, if I were a better person, I'd go for a run.
Right. But Fogg says, no, you need to approach it like an engineer debugging code.
Okay, an engineer.
Yeah. And to do that, you have to understand the basic components. Before we get into the tiny part, though, we should probably touch on how this compares to the other titan in this space.
Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Exactly. We've covered Clear before, and you might be wondering if this is just the same thing.
It's a good question. Atomic Habits is brilliant, but it feels more macro to me. It's about systems, identity, the compound interest of self-improvement over years.
That's a great way to frame it. If Atomic Habits is the macroeconomics of you, Tiny Habits is the microbiology.
I like that.
Fogg is obsessed with what he calls the action line. He wants to know what is happening in the split second a behavior occurs or doesn't.
And how to manipulate the variables in that specific moment.
Yes, to get the result you want.
So let's look at that split second. Fogg boils all human behavior down to a formula. It's almost deceptively simple. B equals MAP.
B equals MAP. Behavior equals motivation plus ability plus prompt.
Okay, let's unpack this because the nuance is really in the relationship between these, right? It's not just a list of ingredients.
Correct. The central insight here is that a behavior only happens when these three things converge at the exact same moment.
At the same time.
You need the motivation to do it, the ability to do it, meaning it's actually possible for you right then, and a prompt to trigger it. If you remove any single letter from that equation, the behavior sits at 0.
It just doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen.
So if I want to go to the gym, that's the behavior. I have the prompt, my alarm goes off, and I have the ability, my car is working, my bag is packed, but I have 0 motivation because it's raining and I'm tired.
No gym.
No gym.
Exactly. But here is where Fogg slips the script on traditional self-help. In that scenario, most of us try to force the M.
Right, we try to psych ourselves up. We watch a motivational YouTube video.
We try to manufacture willpower. Fogg calls this the motivation trap.
I think he calls motivation the monkey wrench in the gears, right?
Yeah,
because it's so slippery.
Yes. He argues that motivation is unreliable by its very nature. It fluctuates constantly based on your blood sugar, your sleep, your stress level.
Even though I love the analogy of motivation being like a flaky friend.
Oh, that's good.
You know the type. They're super fun at the party. They hype you up. They promise they'll help you move next weekend.
And then Sunday morning comes and it's raining and there's a heavy couch to lift.
And they're not answering their phone.
That is the perfect visualization. Motivation is great for one-time feats like running a marathon or cleaning the garage in a manic burst. But it's terrible for the daily grind.
Will always let you down when you get tired.
Always. So Fogg's engineering solution is, stop relying on the flaky friend. If M is unreliable, you have to hack A and P.
Ability and prompt. Let's drill down into ability first. This isn't just about skill like, do I know how to play the piano? It's about the barrier to entry in that moment.
Fogg defines ability as simplicity. If a behavior is hard to do, you need high motivation to do it.
And if it's easy?
If a behavior is easy to do, you can do it with low motivation. He breaks down this ability chain into 5 factors that make things hard: time, money, physical effort, and routine.
Mental effort is the silent killer for me. If I have to decide which workout to do, that split second of decision-making is often enough to just not do it at all.
That's exactly what it means. That mental load increases the ability cost. So the tiny habit solution is to strip all those costs away. You make the behavior so ridiculously small that the ability required is effectively 0.
Which brings us to the recipe. He uses another acronym here, ABC.
Anchor, behavior, celebration.
Let's walk through the A anchor.
The anchor is the prompt. Fogg says prompts are the invisible drivers of our lives. But most people design bad prompts. They use time prompts.
Like, I will do 20 push-ups at 3 p.m.
And why does that usually fail?
Because at 3 p.m. I'm on a call, or I'm driving, or I'm just in the middle of a thought, so I just swipe the notification away. It's annoying.
Exactly. Time is an external, weak prompt. Fogg suggests using an action prompt, which he calls an anchor.
You want to attach the new habit to an existing routine.
Something steady and reliable that you already do every single day without thinking.
The sources listed some really specific examples. After I pour my coffee, or after I flush the toilet.
After I put my key in the door,
Yeah.
you are leveraging the neural stability of the old habit to trigger the new one. You're hooking onto a train that's already moving.
The syntax is, after I anchor, I will take tiny behavior.
Exactly.
So that leads to be the behavior. And we have to stress the word tiny.
So tiny.
The canonical example in the book is flossing. But he doesn't say floss your teeth. He says floss one tooth.
Just one.
And this is where people usually roll their eyes. Because logically, if I'm standing there with the floss and I floss one tooth, it feels pointless. It's not actually helping my dental hygiene in any significant way.
Why stop at one, right?
Yeah.
And that skepticism is the motivation trap talking again. You're thinking about the result, clean teeth, rather than the algorithm, which is automation.
Oh, interesting.
The goal at the beginning isn't hygiene. The goal is automaticity. You are trying to wire the sequence into your basal ganglia. If you say, I'm going to floss all my teeth, that requires a certain level of effort. On a bad day, you might skip it. If you say one tooth, the effort is 0. You can do it even if you have the flu.
It's about lowering the bar so far that you cannot fail. You're clearing the brush before you pave the road.
Precisely. Other examples are things like, after I pour my coffee, I will do 2 push-ups. Or, after I put on my running shoes.
I will not run.
Right. Just put on the shoes.
That one is my favorite. Just put on the shoes. It sounds like a trick.
It's not a trick, it's momentum. Once the shoes are on, the ability barrier to going outside drops significantly. But the win condition, and this is critical, is just the shoes.
So if you put them on and sit back down on the couch.
You still win. You kept the habit.
Okay, so we have the anchor and the behavior. Now we get to C, celebration. And I'll be honest, reading the material, this is the part that felt the most unnatural to me.
It can feel a little forced.
Yeah, like corporate team building exercises, a little cheesy.
It does feel cheesy. But Fogg would argue this is the secret sauce that most people miss, and it's backed by heavy neurobiology.
Oh.
There's a persistent myth that it takes 21 days or 66 days of repetition to form a habit. Fogg says that's not strictly true. It's not repetition that wires the brain, it's emotion.
Emotions create habits. So if I feel really good about something, I learn it instantly.
Think about a hot stove. You touch it once, you feel immediate pain, you learn the habit, don't touch the stove instantly.
You don't need 21 days of practice for that one.
Exactly. The same works for positive reinforcement. Your brain rewires based on dopamine rewards. If you do a behavior and your brain gets a hit of dopamine, it tags that behavior as biologically useful.
So the celebration is a way to hack that dopamine hit on command.
Exactly. You can't wait for the long-term reward. In 6 months, my gums will be healthy is too abstract for your primitive brain. You need an immediate chemical spike. Fogg calls this feeling shine.
So walk me through the mechanics. I floss my one tooth, then what?
Immediately, and timing matters here. It has to be immediate. You celebrate.
Yeah.
You do a fist pump. You say, yes, out loud. You visualize a crowd cheering.
A little dance.
Whatever creates a genuine spark of positive emotion.
Okay, but can you fake it? Because if I'm standing alone in my bathroom, fist pumping over one tooth, I might just feel ridiculous rather than successful.
And Fogg addresses this directly. It's better if it's genuine, but even a fake celebration works to an extent because the physical movement of smiling or expanding your posture signals safety and success to the brain. It's a skill you practice. You are essentially training your brain to enjoy the tiny behavior.
So we've got the recipe: anchor, behavior, celebration. But let's play devil's advocate. We design the habit, we have the anchor, and we still don't do it. We fall off the wagon.
And this is where Fogg's engineering mindset is most helpful. In the standard model, if you fail, you spiral into guilt. I'm lazy, I have no discipline.
Right.
Fogg says, stop that. It's not a moral failure. It's a design failure. You just have a bug in the code.
So how do we debug it?
You troubleshoot in a specific order. Fogg warns against jumping straight to motivation. First, check the prompt. Was the anchor clear? Did you actually remember? If not, find a more obvious anchor.
Maybe. After I pour coffee didn't work because I'm too groggy. So I switch it to after I close the dishwasher.
Exactly. If the prompt is fine, then check ability. Was it too hard? Did you secretly try to do 20 push-ups instead of 2? Make it smaller.
And only then do you look at motivation.
Only then. And usually the problem is ability.
That's a huge relief. It depersonalizes the failure. Now, we have to flip the coin. We've talked about building new habits. But for a lot of us, the problem isn't starting to floss. It's stopping the scrolling or the sugar.
Stopping the bad habits.
How does BMP apply there?
Fogg changes the metaphor here. We usually talk about breaking a bad habit, but break implies force. It implies snapping something in half.
Right.
He prefers the metaphor of untangling a rope.
I like that. A knotted rope creates a lot of tension. If you just yank on it, which is what willpower feels like, the knot just gets tighter.
Yes, you have to loosen it strand by strand.
Don't just stop doing something complex like social media addiction.
You alter the BMP components to dismantle it. You want to make B, the bad behavior, impossible or incredibly difficult.
So if BMAP, to kill the behavior, we remove the prompt.
That's strategy number 1. Change your environment so the cue never hits your brain. Put the phone in a drawer in another room. Don't buy the cookies so they aren't in the pantry.
No prompt, the equation equals 0.
Right.
And if we can't hide the prompt, we attack ability.
You make it harder. You increase the friction in that ability chain. If you want to stop checking Instagram, delete the app. Now, to check it, you have to re-download it and log in.
You've added time and mental effort.
A lot of it.
I do this with snacks. I keep them on the highest shelf in the garage. I can still have them, but I have to put on shoes, go to the garage, get a step ladder.
And
But usually that's just enough friction to make me decide I don't actually want the cookie.
that is a textbook ability hack. You're designing for your own laziness.
There was a case study in the notes about a woman named Junie who had a serious sugar addiction. I thought her approach was really illustrative of this untangling idea.
Yes, Junie is a great example because she didn't go cold turkey. She knew that would fail.
Right.
Instead, she used the tiny habits method. She started by just analyzing the prompts journaling when she craved sugar.
She was debugging her own triggers.
Right, and then she attacked ability. She didn't ban sugar, she just made a rule. If I want the candy, I have to wait 10 minutes.
She didn't say no, she just added a time cost.
Or she would make sure she didn't have the snacks at her desk. It wasn't about willpower, it was about redesigning her environment so that the lazy option was the healthy option.
It seems so much more compassionate. It just removes that guilt cycle.
Guilt is actually counterproductive. Fogg is adamant about this. Feeling bad makes you seek comfort.
And what gives you comfort? Usually the bad habit.
So guilt actually feeds the addiction.
I want to circle back to something we touched on with the one-tooth concept, scaling up. Obviously, flossing one tooth for the rest of your life isn't the end goal. How does that tiny thing become a transformation?
Fogg talks about ripple effects. Tiny habits naturally grow. This connects back to the shine.
Okay.
Once you are standing there, having flossed one tooth, and you've done your little celebration, you feel successful. That success momentum changes your brain state.
You think, well, I'm already here, the floss is in my hand.
I might as well do a few more.
So the tiny habit is the Trojan horse that gets you through the castle gates.
Exactly. And even if you don't expand immediately, that feeling of success shifts your identity. You start to see yourself as the kind of person who flosses. And that identity shift drives bigger changes naturally.
Without the struggle.
Without the struggle.
There was another concept in the scaling section that I thought was really poetic. Pearl habits.
Oh, I love pearl habits.
This is a specific type of habit formation.
It's based on the metaphor of how an oyster creates a pearl. An oyster takes an irritant, a sharp grain of sand that's bothering it, and covers it in layers of nacre to make it smooth and beautiful.
So in behavioral terms, we take an irritation in our lives and use it as a prompt.
Yes. You take something that usually annoys you or causes stress, and you reframe it as a trigger for self-care.
Can you give me a concrete example?
Let's say your partner has a habit of making a noise that annoys you, or maybe it's the neighbor's dog barking.
Okay.
Instead of getting angry, which is the default reaction, you set a tiny habit recipe. After I hear the dog bark, I will take one deep, relaxing breath and smile.
That is genius. You're essentially jujitsuing the stress. The more the dog barks, the more relaxed you become.
It's incredibly powerful. You're reclaiming agency over your environment, and this connects to the broader impact of these habits. It's not just about you.
Right.
The sources tell a really touching story about a family, Mike and Carla, and their adult son, Chris.
Yeah, this story really landed for me. Chris was living at home, struggling to launch, very disorganized. Room was a mess.
And the parents were doing what parents naturally do, nagging. Why can't you be more responsible? Clean your room.
Which creates a cycle of shame and defensiveness. Chris feels like a failure, so he hides, and the room gets messier.
But Mike and Carla decided to try the tiny habits approach. They stopped the big lectures. They picked one tiny thing.
What was it?
They asked Chris to just remove the coffee filter from the machine after he used it.
That's it, just the filter.
Just the filter. It was an anchor, making coffee, and a tiny behavior, toss the filter. And this is the key. When he did it, they didn't say, about time, or now go clean your room.
They just appreciated it.
They helped him feel successful.
They gave him the shine.
They did. And that small win rebuilt his self-efficacy, his belief that he was capable of executing a task. He started doing more. He started cleaning the kitchen. Eventually, he started organizing his life. The takeaway here is profound. Change is a skill. You help others change by helping them feel successful, not by making them feel bad.
Change is a skill. I love that. It's not a gene you're born with. It's a muscle you build.
Exactly. And you build it with reps, not with heavy weights.
So if we zoom out, what is the big takeaway for the listener today?
Fogg is asking us to flip the script on how we view human nature. We live in a culture that worships the big leap, the massive transformation, the extreme makeover.
Movie montage.
Right, where the hero fixes their life in 3 minutes. But biology doesn't work that way. Biology works on incremental adaptation and positive reinforcement.
It's moving from relying on willpower to designing for laziness.
Yes. Design for the person you are when you are tired, stressed, and unmotivated. If your system works for that person, it will work for you on your best days too.
Remember, B equals MAP.
If the behavior isn't happening, don't beat yourself up. Hack the prompt or hack the ability.
And don't forget the shine.
Never forget the shine. People change best by feeling good, not by feeling bad. That is the golden rule.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave everyone with a final thought from the book that I think really sums up the power of lowering the bar. It's the story of Linda.
The postcard on the fridge?
Yeah. Linda was a mom who was overwhelmed, trying to do it all perfectly, and she put a postcard on her fridge, right next to her kids' drawings. It showed a 1950s housewife, and the caption read, "If the kids are alive at 5, I've done my job."
It's funny, but it's actually a profound strategy.
It is. Because if you set the bar at perfection, if you set the bar at I must be the perfect parent or I must run 5 miles every day, you will inevitably fail, feel shame, and quit. But if you set the bar at put on my running shoes or keep the kids alive, you succeed, you feel the shine.
And ironically, by setting the bar on the floor,
You end up achieving so much more because you keep going.
success leads to success.
So here's our challenge to you. Find one anchor in your day today. Pouring your coffee, brushing your teeth, starting your car, and attach one tiny, ridiculous behavior to it.
2 squats, 1 deep breath, floss 1 tooth.
And then give yourself a fist bump.
See what happens?
Thanks for diving in with us.
See you next time.